It's way past time I dispense some indiscriminate justice!
G'day guys, Duckville here. We're going to be having a replay from MLG. I grabbed some of the replays from the open bracket. We obviously had the losers bracket and the winners bracket. We've got this one here from the winners bracket, I believe. This is ROOTDestiny, of course, one of the very one of the sort of more well-known players. Of course, he does some streaming on Team Liquid and that sort of thing, which is always very fun to watch. We do have some very fun moments watching Destiny play. And his opponent down here will be another Zerg. Yes, this is going to be a Zerg versus Zerg, which always can be quite explosive. And this is going to be Darkcell from Amazing Gaming, I believe the clan is. And this should be quite an interesting game. Now, this is on MLG version of xel'naga cabins. We do have the supply depot down here, which is meant to block sort of pylons and you know, bunkers and that sort of thing. But obviously, that's not going to be too much trouble for either of these players. Now, in this sort of Zerg versus Zerg, it is it's a little bit of an interesting thing that you can see the different styles of how people play. Obviously, in Korea, sometimes you can see a lot of sort of early expansions in Zerg versus Zerg, but in sort of the overall scene, in the foreigner scene, you will generally see some sort of earlier pools. And obviously, as we can see here from DarkCell, we're going to have a quick grabbing that gas there. It's not overly quick gas, but you will be getting something going shortly here. In fact, getting that spawning pool right now. There it is. And as we can see here from Destiny, he's going to be grabbing a spawning pool up the back, so he's going to be ready for some sort of pretty quick Zerglings there. Not too bad, but obviously sticking with a decent economy for the moment. So we'll see if Destiny is going to do anything like perhaps an expansion. I'm thinking, given that there is no gas at the moment, I don't think there's too many other plans you can do without that gas. There's not really much else you can do apart from getting a whole heap of Zerglings. So we'll see what the plan is here from Destiny. Obviously, DarkCell will probably be getting that pretty quick speed there. As we can see, we'll probably see these drones actually jump off the gas once we get to 100 gas, and we'll see if that happens just in a moment. What that means is that he'll be able to get the Zergling speed quite quickly there, and there we go, it is done. We'll probably see these switch maybe, and that actually sort of tells if you're actually going to do something. It sort of depends how you're going to do your strategy, depending on how many drones are actually sitting on the gas. We've actually got 2 in here at the moment, so I'm not sure if that's still part of his plan, if we've sort of if he's worked that out into his build that he actually has 2, or if he's just actually forgotten that it's meant to be 3 in there. But we'll see what happens. Meanwhile, over here, Destiny is getting a quick spine crawler actually inside the mineral line. Just perhaps a little bit worried about some quick Zerglings. As I mentioned, it's sort of a bit dependent on the scene where you actually play as to how Zerg versus Zergs actually go. Now, as you can see, a roach warren up the back here from Destiny. Do keep in mind the positioning of the buildings here. In Zerg versus Zerg, of course, if you lose these sorts of buildings, you're in a lot of trouble, so he's going to keep these up the back. Now, in 2 ways, this is actually really good for him. It blocks off the entry of Zerglings through these little holes here, and also blocks Zerglings going in the back. Now, as you can see, one of the Zerglings from DarkCell getting inside is going to be poked away by that spine crawler along with the Queen. Saw the roach warren though, so he is going to know that he's going to need to get that tech up as soon as possible. And as you can see here, actually, well, he did go for the roach warren, but he's actually cancelling it now, and perhaps he's going to get an expansion going. This could be interesting to see if he does get that going along with the roaches. If they do come out, this could be very interesting, but we'll see what happens here. Another Zergling still just hanging around the map. We got some in the middle here. They do have their wings, so they will be able to get around quite quickly here and help out with gathering intel on what Destiny is up to. Meanwhile, Destiny has these 5 roaches out. A drone is coming along the back here. He is going to get his expansion up. So this is going to be just a little roach expansion here from Destiny, and down here we will see that this will obviously be that more of a Zergling style expand from DarkCell. He's got an Evo chamber up. He's going to grab perhaps the upgrade he needs to get. I'm not really sure which one he's going to grab. There it is. The +1 to missile weapons is on the way. Still no roach warren just as of yet, so he's going to get his economy up and pumping as soon as he can. Now, as you can see on the harvester tab, he has droned up quite a lot more than Destiny was able to, given that Destiny went for that early spine crawler along with the roach warren. So he's definitely going to be able to keep ahead for the moment in the drone count, and especially given that this hatchery is actually quite a lot farther done than Destiny's is. He's going to be able to get some more drones out as well once some larvae start popping out. So we'll see what happens here. Very passive for the moment here. Very surprising to see that these guys are just sort of happy to sit back for the moment. There's no sort of explosive gaming as we generally do see in Zerg versus Zerg. But yeah, just for the moment, they're sort of sitting back, having having some iced tea or something like that, perhaps. And these roaches just sort of guarding the front here. As we can see, they're in position to help guard that hatchery, but they're also in position to run back here and stop any run-bys of lings. And speaking of run-bys, we do have some lings coming through the back here, through the shrubbery. They do get inside, spot the hatchery is done, the roaches come up to defend, and as we mentioned, those roaches in perfect position to get inside and stop those. But a couple do actually come in from the opposite side, flanking like raptors in Jurassic Park. They do get inside, take out the queen, and they may get a couple of the drones before they get too much done. No, they're not actually going to get much done there. Sort of giving up there a bit, but some more Zerglings were getting inside here, taking out a couple of those roaches, and these roaches are actually getting really low on health, but once this spine crawler gets into position, he's going to be quite safe for the moment. But nice little attack there by Darkcell to get inside, took out the queen as we mentioned, which was it's a pretty decent hit there on Destiny's economy. Of course, that slows down larvae production, which in turn means unit production and drone production. So it does hurt a little bit when you actually hit up one of those queens and take them out to dinner and then actually kill them afterwards. So not a cool idea there. So Roach Warren is now done. The +1 to weapons is also done. So Darkcell is going to be in a nice spot here with his +1 roaches, which are going to do a nice amount of damage once he decides to get inside. And speaking of getting inside, a couple of lings do get past and even actually escape the defenses, but not escaping that giraffe head of the spine crawler there. Deciding that moving it into the back is probably a better idea, and it does start to burrow down there. Probably going to defend the mineral line a lot better from that position. So the roaches now starting to move out. We do have a total of 16 roaches now moving out for Darkcell. It looks as if he's just heading out to the rocks here at the gold expansion. Going to take out these just in case he wants to put down a gold expansion hatchery there. Destiny will see it, of course, there with those overlords hanging around the sky. Of course, do keep in mind, in Zerg vs. Zerg, you have vision across the whole map. It's quite huge how far you can see. And, of course, we do see that Darkcell has the same sort of thing. His actually has spread a little bit further. And, in fact, sending in an overlord across here to check out what tech is going on here, we'll see that the lair is done. Now, this could be a diversion by Destiny. He actually does put the lair on. The overlord is going to go down. Of course, it does see that the lair was started but then cancelled. So a little bit interesting. Kind of wondering what Darkcell's going to take from that information that he gathered, that it was started and then cancelled. Perhaps just a little bit of a mind game there from Destiny, just putting it up and then saying, look, I'm getting the lair, but now I'm actually not. What am I actually doing? So that's a little bit of a cool play there from Destiny. Meanwhile, rocks are going to go down here at the third base there. Giving entry to that third base is a really good way to make sure you can expand if you are going to attack. And I would sort of suspect for the moment that these guys are just going to sit back. So we're still going to have this sort of passive style game. A second Evo chamber going down here. This is probably a little bit more just to actually block off this backdoor path here. Of course, this does block lings from running by. I believe that's, yeah, I don't think that's big enough for the lings to get by. And this obviously helps more in that way than for actually getting upgrades. But of course, once the economy does get a little bit further along for Darkcell, he will be able to use that to get a second upgrade running concurrently with the other evolution chamber. So, as we can see, a lot of roaches have been pumped out here by Destiny. He does not have his +1 upgrade done yet, but he will have probably a little bit of an upper hand with the roaches, I believe, because he does have 4 more popping out. But we'll see that they are going to have a little bit of a roach battle here. The concave not as good for Darkcell. He actually loses 1 roach straight away there. Now, as you can see, Destiny is going to cut off half of these forces, send them back, and he's just going to make sure that nothing comes in the back. Meanwhile, Darkcell coming in with 4 roaches. That's why he was a little bit light on the roaches at the front. They are going to be able to pick off 1 drone, takes out 1, it takes out 2, but then the roaches do go down, so that's not really too much of a great little attack there for Darkcell. He's going to have a little bit of trouble if he does not actually kill off some of these roaches. He actually does have superior numbers here, I would think, given that he actually has taken off a lot of the health on these roaches here of Destiny, but Destiny's going to continue to chase. They do have their speed, but we don't actually have speed for Darkcell, so, but now they're back on the creep. These roaches actually coming way back into the into position here. Beautiful reinforcement there from Darkcell. He's going to be able to get back up on top of these roaches here. Going to be running away with those. These roaches from Darkcell don't actually have speed. As you can see here, the ones from Destiny just absolutely powering away, and they are going to go home to fight another day. Meanwhile, Couple of spine crawlers coming up here from Destiny just to make sure he's quite safe in his position in this base. There are obviously a lot of these roaches here. There are 39 roaches here for Destiny. There are 43 out for Darkcell at the moment, so, and he does have that +1, so this is going to get very interesting if we actually get to a battle, which we may get to soon. Meanwhile, have a look at that, we actually have Infestors popping out for Destiny, so he's going to have quite a decent little upgrade there, and they do have their pathogen glands, so they have that extra little bit of energy. As you can see there, they will be able to fungal straight away. Meanwhile, Darkcell attempting to draw back some of the forces into the back door there, but fungal going down on top of those roaches. These guys are not going to be going too far. They do get picked up there by those infestors with the fungal. Meanwhile, a couple coming in the back here. These have got their speed finally now, and he is able to run around and do a little bit of damage. He's trying to scout out what he can if he can get into the main. This would help him out. Well, you would think it would help him out, but there is actually not too much going on inside the main base here for Destiny. Effectively, everything is happening out here for him. He's got his Evo chamber, got the infestation pit as well, along with pretty much the main part of his forces down here. Overseer tagging along with these roaches from Destiny like a bad smell, and he's going to keep an eye on what is going on. This is going to give Destiny a bit of trouble here, but it looks as if he's got way superior forces despite actually having the lower upgrades. In fact, Darkcell is actually now up to 2-1 with his upgrades, 2 to weapons and 1 to armor. This is actually really going to help him out here if he can sort of just keep these roaches at bay for the moment, and then perhaps get a good little spread on his roaches, because he doesn't want to take a fungal in the face of all of those roaches. In fact, waiting for fungal to go down here for Destiny, but he's not keeping it up just at the moment. And as you can see there, a lot of roaches coming in the back here from Darkcell. He's going to do some nice burrow micro there, burrowing some of these roaches and attacking at the same time with other ones. Fungal's going down up the top there. We have a fungal down on the left as well. These roaches are going to go down. It is really hard to tell who's going to win this, but I think Destiny is not going to come out the winner of this one, trying to get away with those infestors. The infestors, as you can see in the ground, just running away there underground, and those roaches with their upgrades finally proving worth their weight there. But a beautiful fungal on top of that whole group of roaches there. They're going to have to burrow to get some of their health back, because those guys are in trouble. If they see a banana peel and they slip over, they will be dead. That is how close they are to death already. But nice little job there by Destiny to get inside, stop this third base from getting too far, and then actually taking out some of the roaches of Darkcell as well. As we can see on the army tug of war, we actually have Darkcell actually quite a bit in front for the moment here. He does have a lot of these roaches here, along with a couple left back at the base. These are just the reinforcements, of course, that just popped out. Meanwhile, we have a lot of infestors pumping out here from Destiny. He's got a total of 8 over here. I would be not surprised if there are a few more about to come out, but no, we don't actually have that just yet. Pathogen glands just going down for Darkcell. He's going to be able to get his own infestors out in a moment. Of course, when you are getting your infestors and you get the pathogen glands, you sort of want to grab start actually building your infestors at around about, what is it, 50-60% on pathogen glands, because that means that once the infestors pop out, the pathogen glands will be done just a tick before it, and they will have the advantage of that upgrade. Now, we do see that the changeling over here for Darkcell just hanging around at the xel'naga watchtower. A couple of roaches have decided to come up the side path of the base of Destiny, but they're not going to get too far. A couple of defending roaches are hanging out here, waiting to pick up some of those, and they do get their spiky hair, so he is going to be able to burrow, and he will be able to burrow under some of these roaches if he needs to, and perhaps get into a decent spot here. Splitting up some of the roaches is Darkcell. He's going to use these perhaps to flank in through the side, and we'll see if he's going to actually attack into this third base. I would not be surprised if he does eventually, though. But the one problem he's going to have to deal with is all of these infestors. Check out there are now 9 infestors in total. Even a spore crawler here for some detection to make sure that those burrowed roaches don't get in the front. Meanwhile, the third base has gotten up and running for Darkcell. He's got a decent saturation of those drones there, and now, as we can see, did I see? No, I was looking at that shadow and I thought that was burrowed infestors. But meanwhile, speaking of burrow, we do actually have some burrowed roaches here at the third base of Destiny. There's a beautiful ring of spine crawlers going down there, but a fungal went off on those roaches, took out a couple of them. I'm not sure if Destiny actually saw that there are a couple of others there. There are still a couple of other roaches burrowed underground there. They can be seen by that spore crawler, and those roaches finally pop out, and they're going to have a little attack on those drones. They're not going to get too far, though. Meanwhile, up the top here, where is the Jaws music? Because these guys are now coming around the back. They may be able to get inside here. Of course, that Spore Crawler does have the detection range, pretty big detection range, but it won't be able to detect up the back. But those roaches are finally coming through. There are 5 of them. They do have their +2 to weapons, as we mentioned before, and +1 to armor. They're going to pop up perhaps in a moment, but we'll see what happens. A couple of burrow roaches over here. This is burrow wars. Why aren't these guys seeing each other underground? There should be like, you know, some sort of subway tunnel under there, and they just pass by each other. Meanwhile, Darkcell's roaches do pop up, and some of these burrowed ones attempting to go through the front door there, but they're not going to get too far. Nice little double-pronged attacks here from Darkcell, and in fact, triple-pronged attacks trying to come through the third base here. There are a lot of spine crawlers there, which actually deflected that attack, and now as that attack is deflected, he's going to go up the back and try and see if he can pick off some of those from high ground. But now as we see, hello there, lady, we've actually got some infestors sort of sitting down here at this third base of Darkcell. We'll keep an eye on what those guys are up to, and we'll see here that some beautiful fungals go off here for Destiny. He's going to be able to absolutely slam through all of those roaches. There they go, they do explode, and now here they go. They're coming into the party, popping up, and then we'll probably see a fungal and then some infested Terrans maybe. I'm not really sure what the plan is. Second fungal's going down. There they go. All of those drones got absolutely smashed. Check out that worker supply. Just got absolutely obliterated there from Darkcell. And now these infested Terrans are going to town on the rest of the drones that are left over here. Meanwhile, the infestors burrowing and running away. This is starting to look pretty good for Destiny at the moment here. He is perhaps behind a little bit in the economy now that this gold is now done for Darkcell, but his actual play with all of his units is just fantastic. Not to mention he has that fungal growth if he can catch this big group of units, but a counter catch there by Darkcell actually grabbing all of those roaches here. Do keep in mind that there is plus 30% damage to armored units, so all of these roaches taking a big hit. More fungals going down, as we mentioned, more and more fungals everywhere, all over the place here from Destiny, catching every single unit that attempted to go into that battle there, and just a great job by Destiny to actually get inside and take out all of those units. Meanwhile, Darkcell attempting to do a bit of an elevator drop inside here. This is much like a lurker drop as you would see back in the days of Brood War, but the roaches do get inside, so I was calling them drones for some reason there, but they do actually get picked back straight away, and they are going to float over here. I'm not really sure what the plan is, perhaps just keeping them up the back to make sure that he's aware of anything that happens here. 2 drones down here from Destiny. I'm not sure what they're going to be up to. Perhaps they're going to be run in here and build some spine crawlers. That would be awesome. But we'll see what he's going to be up to. We have roaches spread out all over the back here. We've got one underground here. We've got a couple just sort of hanging around, infestors, and it looks as if Darkcell's going to try and do his own counter attack with the fungal on the third base here. There is actually a lot of drones here. We'll keep an eye on the harvester count. Have a look at that. We've currently got 59 for Destiny. Going to lose one batch there. Loses, gets a second batch, and then the infested Terrans come down. Not sure if that was the greatest idea from Darkcell, because the drones actually get away, and there are too many spine crawlers here for the infested Terrans to actually get too much done. Meanwhile, the infested Terrans of Destiny are actually sitting down here waiting for another little attack they can do, but Darkcell has decided to finally drop those roaches in the back there. They are going to take out this roach warren, it looks like. With their +1 to weapons, they will survive just long enough to take it out. There it goes. Broodling's popping out saying, "What have you done?" And they finally get rid of some of them, but it looks as if Destiny pumping down some infested Terrans into that expansion there, taking out a lot of those drones. As we can see here, Darkcell is actually becoming a little bit cramped for style with his actual units. He's actually got only those 25 harvesters, no gas income. A huge fungal go down there all over the place from Darkcell. He's done a great job of picking up a lot of those units that were in a big clump there. Infested Terrans all over the place, tanking a lot of damage and doing a lot of damage themselves. Fungals everywhere as well. Spine crawlers poking away on the side, but that is GG for Darkcell. There is just way too much to contend with, especially with his economy in tatters there, given that all those fungals and the infested Terrans that went down at this third base. So, brilliant job there. Not to mention, oh, hello, we actually even had some infested Terrans going on down here. I'm sorry I did not even see them at all, but damage has been done. So game 1 they're going to ROOTDestiny, taking out Darkcell. We'll go into game 2. Cheers.